Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
I've been going out with a girl, her name is Julie, but last night she said to me when we were watching telly.
Lee is in Croydon. Lee, what would you like to say?
Yeah, good morning, James.
Hello, mate.
The point made about are you happy today or are you, like, not happy? I'm happy that we're actually leaving, that it's going through now. But I am not happy because, obviously, it's 40 billion pounds we're paying.
Let me read you a tweet from September the 21st of this year from one of my favourite listeners, Incorrigible FCA. After the phony war, we are finally getting down to brass tacks. UK says 20 billion, they say 100 billion, 40 billion pounds is where the smart money is. It shouldn't have come as a surprise to anyone who listens to this programme.
No. The surprise is that people don't actually realise what that's for. It's not them just being nasty and saying, oh, it's a divorce settlement or whatever. Because if it is, I want half the buildings that we paid for that are in Europe and everything.
No, but that doesn't make sense because everybody on the Remain side has been explaining all along why we have to meet our financial responsibilities. You could be making a case for saying people on the other side have been lying to their supporters, but I'm not going to argue with that. They've lied to them about everything.
OK, both sides, because we've been paying more, because apparently we've been paying £15 billion a year for the free trade. I mean, obviously, private school dictionary is different to a state school one, because free means you don't pay anything, you get it for nothing. But obviously,
no, it doesn't. Free means it hasn't. Free means it hasn't got tariffs in place. It doesn't mean because if it's free, it's not trade. It's just gifts.
All right, but 15.
You don't have to go to private school to understand that, Lee.
Well, free to me is like when someone says, "That's a nice watch, Lee. How much you pay for that?" And I thought, you know what? I didn't pay a penny. Got it for free.
Yeah,
anyway,
no. Well, free trade would have involved you buying it without any tariffs being put in place on import and export of that watch. But we're going down another rabbit hole, Lee. I'm not.
All right. Let me hear me out, because it's took a year to get
I've hardly spoken.
So, but okay, so it's free. You don't pay any tariffs. But to get that deal, you got to pay £15 billion a year. Okay, but we get 5 back. We've been paying £10 billion a year. Now we learn that we're also signed up to other stuff. We've got to pay this 40 billion because no, you agreed to pay for this.
Mate, I've got a switchboard groaning under the weight of people talking. Just tell me the smartest point you were going to make when you rang in.
Right, because you keep going on about tariffs. Do you understand tariffs?
No, this is not a question. When I said make the smartest point you've got, the opposite of that is asking me a question. Just tell me something sort of, I don't know, clever.
That we're actually out. We don't get told what to do anymore. You keep saying that.
How are the customs union and single market regulations going to be imposed without somebody telling us what to do?
Well, we'll have to impose them as well for stuff that comes into.
Well, that's what we do now.
Yeah. So what's I don't see what the problem is.
I know you don't, Lee, and I really, really envy you. It's 11:15.
Right.
Steve is in Islington. Steve, what would you like to say?
Wow, you've worn me out.
You've worn me out, mate. I've got to get through to 1 o'clock. You can have a lie down after this.
Oh, finally. Right, I don't know where I've got to start, but I'll be perfectly honest with you, James. I am confused, totally and utterly confused. And the reason I'll tell you this is I'm not an educated man.
Oh.
Far from it.
Yeah.
But when people come on the phone to you and speak to you every day about leaving Europe and leaving the European Union, everybody else, including people like me, seems like a complete and utter idiot. They talk to you, and you're an educated man, they talk to you as if everybody that's voted no and voted leave don't know what they're on about. But the point I'm trying to make this, James, is why were we ever given the vote?
Yeah.
The fact that we was given a vote, right, and most people that voted to leave Europe voted for probably, and this is my own opinion, on maybe 2 or 3 things. One was immigration, right, which is, you might not think it, James, but a lot of people do. Obviously, most of the 52% of people that voted probably thought like me that we are flooded with migrants, flooded to almost at the point that the country can't take any more. We're also worried about our schooling. We're also worried about our housing. We're also worried about the National Health Service. But we're all deemed as being complete and utter idiots. The fact that we were given this vote was so wrong for all the reasons that you have been speaking about in the last year. You know, you look at the customs union, the soft and hard.
I think the biggest thing for me when I tried.
Know anything about it?
No, when I try and reach out to people like you, the biggest thing is that we had the rights and we had the rules in place to have much more stringent immigration regulations than the ones that we have, and subsequent governments elected not to impose them for two reasons, they would argue, I imagine. Number one, it wouldn't be cost effective. It would cost so much to do and it wouldn't save anything. And number two, because having immigration as this constant Banquo's ghost at the feast, that they could constantly say all the things you've just listed, you're blaming on immigration. I blame them on bad government. But if I was running a bad government, I'd love the idea that people like you were blaming it all on immigration.
It is a bad government, but James, the point I'm trying to make is all the other issues, the parts that you're talking about, of the effect that it's going to have on this country financially.
Yep.
95% of the 52% probably didn't know anything about this. You know, when I listen to you every day and I try to absorb what you're saying about, you know, hard and soft Brexit, hard and soft borders,
yes,
and customs unions and everything else that goes with it, it's way above our head, James.
It's not, mate.
Passionate, but it is, James.
It's not. Why are you listening every day then, unless you understand what I'm saying?
I know, because James, I'm 56 years of age, but I'm still trying to learn. That is what I'm trying to do.
You have learned. The thing you can't compute.
I'm learning from you. But
yes. Thank you, mate.
Say, James,
go on.
When I go, look, I live in Harrow.
Yeah.
When I go down to Harrow, and this is not being racist, James, because that term is so easily used and very loosely used. When I go down to Harrow, and I've lived here for 30 years, I walk into Harrow Shopping Centre, and I swear to God, I don't know where I am. I've got Polish, Romanians, Bulgarians sitting outside coffee houses doing sod all day. I've got every nationality under the sun, and it's lost its identity. When I go into Norfolk Park Hospital, and I went in there 3 Sundays ago because I had to go in an emergency, I walked into the accident emergency, as I said to your researcher, 120 people in there. I was lucky if I saw 3 or 4 white faces. It's okay if you live.
Now that is racist.
No,
that last bit is.
It's realistic.
No, it isn't, because you're forming an opinion of people or their value based on their colour. There are people who don't have white faces who are just as British as you and me, Steve.
Perhaps there are, James, but if...
Well, no, they all are.
You go down
and that's... name me the European Union... Steve, mate, let's not do this. Let's do it nicely. Just tell me the European Union country that is populated by non-white people.
Couldn't tell you.
Well, have a go. Have a little think.
Say the question again?
The European Union countries, because we're talking about your reasons for leaving the European Union, and then you mentioned the fact that there weren't any white people in Norfolk Park Hospital. So which European Union countries are essentially non-white?
Probably none.
So why are you talking about those people then?
All right. Let's backtrack.
Yeah, let's, mate. I'm happy to let you do that. No,
let's backtrack. But it is still a valid point, James.
Not in the context of a conversation about the European Union, Steve.
Yeah,
and I'm afraid that if you are judging people according to their skin colour, then you are, and I say this with love and reluctance, then you are indulging in racial prejudice.
But James is.
So I don't care what colour you are. I don't say. I'm never going to say to Beth at the end of the programme, we had too many black people on today, or we had too many white people on today.
But it's not all about. It's not all about white people, white English people. We're going off tangent.
Well, no, you did, mate. I'm just reining you back in again. So crack on.
It's not all about the racist issue. It's just about the fact that the country has lost its identity.
What does that mean?
And that. Well, what does it mean? It means that what I've just said, that...
You've just said that you don't like seeing brown faces at the hospital.
Okay, no. Is it right then, James? Let's give another example. Right? I might be digging myself a big hole, but...
I'll pull you out, mate, I promise.
Right, but the point I'm trying to make, if you went down to my local, and I'll give you an absolute point here, if you went down to my local supermarket, I won't name which one it is, okay?
Yeah.
And one of my sons tried to get a job down, or 2 of my sons tried to get a job down there in a few years when they were in between university and going from college to university. At one point, James, there was 23 tills open, and 22 of them, okay,
yes, mate,
had Indians or Pakistani people.
But we're talking about the European Union, Steve.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, James, is this is where it's all coming from. And when I mentioned this to the manager, okay, the manager said to me, we have to reflect the local community. And the point I'm trying to make, James, and you're trying to to a degree defend me, but to attack me, is that right, James?
Mate,
that is why people have voted out of Europe.
Because we've got too many brown people on the tills in Harrow.
It's not about having too many. But when I was
what is it then, Steve? Just mate, slow down a little bit. Because if you're not complaining about there being too many brown people, why do you keep talking about the number of brown people in the hospital and the number of brown people in the supermarket?
The reason I'm saying that is, James, is because that is why people voted to leave Europe, because of Great Britain.
I don't disagree with you. No, it's not because of Great Britain losing its identity. It's because people are frightened of brown people.
No, it's not about it. No, James.
What difference does it make to me? Just help me out here, because I can kind of get my... just because I work on the phones every day, so I have no idea what colour anybody is. Steve, stop talking. Stop talking just for a moment, my friend, all right? Why does it matter to you what colour the person that you buy your milk off is?
Well, it doesn't matter the colour that the person I buy my milk off, James. But the point I'm trying to make is why people voted out of Europe.
I'm not arguing with you. They voted out of Europe because they think there's too many brown people in their hometowns.
Is it unfair then, James, to say that when I mentioned what I said about the local supermarket, that
and the hospital,
when I'm told, and the hospital, but let's go to the supermarket. When I'm told that we have to reflect the local community, is that not racist, James?
No, Steve.
Well, explain to me why it's not racist.
What, reflecting the local community?
Yeah, because it's basically saying, well, because there's predominantly more Asian, and because this is what the manager's told me, Steve.
James, you're Steve.
Because there's more, because there's more Indian or ethnic minorities in Harrow, we have to reflect the local community.
Right, well, possibly you misunderstood him, but if anybody in that supermarket was given a job based upon their skin colour, then the employer would be breaking the law.
Well, they did. Because
well, then you should report it to the relevant authorities. But did you? Crikey.
Very shortly.
Well, then let's return to my question, okay?
My son got a job.
I want you to talk to me about this. When I drop my little girls off at school, and in their primary school, there are Polish children and Romanian children, Albanian children, brown children, black children, children of Asian origin, children of Eastern European origin. When I explain, I don't need to, thankfully, but when you're talking to your children when they were younger, how did you explain to them that they should judge their friendship group according to those origins, and they should judge those people in their class differently according to what colour they were or where they came from?
And I never ever said to my children when they were kids how they should judge people.
So why do you want to do it with checkout assistants and patients at the hospital?
Because as far as I'm concerned, James, we have to a degree, fight back.
Against what, Steve? Fight against what, Steve? People? Checkout assistants and poorly people?
No, you're twisting your words there, James.
No, I'm not. I'm twisting your words.
No, it's not about that, James.
Go on then. So what are we fighting back against?
What I just said to you earlier.
What? Brown people?
No, it's not about...
What is it then, Steve?
But James, is it fair that if you go into a local supermarket, as an example,
Steve,
and there's 23 tills open and 22... I'll pose one question before I go then, James. I will assure you of one thing.
Go on, mate.
If I went to my local supermarket and there was 22 white English, white Irish, white Scot behind them tills, I can assure you that the other nationalities would have something to say about it.
I can assure you they wouldn't, Steve. I'll leave you with one thought. Let's look at both of your supermarkets, the fictional one and the actual one. The one with 22 brown people on the checkouts and one white person, and then the one with 22 white people and one brown person. Do you know what I see in those supermarkets?
Yeah.
23 people.
But you might, James, but that's unfortunately getting back to the first point of this discussion,
which was don't call me racist.
No, it's why people voted.
I'm not arguing with you. I think you're absolutely right. People voted to leave the European Union because there's too many brown people in their A&E, and I can't help you, Steve. I really can't. Do you think it's going to be better now? Do you think there's going to be fewer Pakistanis in Harrow Sainsbury's as a result of us pulling out of the European Union?
No, I don't.
Oh, well done then. That was great. 12:19. Sam is in Stoke-on-Trent. Sam, what would you like to say?
I've got a few points, mate.
Okay, we've got. Well,
you've
got 2 minutes because it's 12:29 for the news. So I'll shut up. You crack on.
Yeah. First point, basically, benefits of breakfast, getting away from the common external tariff. I ordered a product from America. The common external, basically, there's a tariff on goods coming into the European Union. I ordered the product from America and I had to go down to the sorting office and pay a price. So that means it'll be cheaper food, clothing and footwear.
No, because we're staying in the customs union, so we have to abide by all European Union.
Eventually we will. And I just think and the second point is, talk about, what that guy was trying to say before was we never voted for mass immigration from wherever it was from. And the other point, basically, is that you keep misrepresenting the people that voted Brexit as stupid, as muppets. Honestly, I've never heard.
No. There's plenty of stupid people on both sides.
Yeah. I mean,
neither side has a monopoly on it.
Yeah, but the lies that came from the Rain campaign, aren't we supposed to be, £400 worse off? We won't be able to pay people's pensions. And the people...
No, you misunderstand the difference between a prediction that hasn't come true and an outright lie. So if I said the sun is going to come up tomorrow and then it didn't, it doesn't make me a liar. It makes me wrong. But if I said we can't control our borders when the rubric is there in black and white that we can, that makes me a liar. There's a massive difference, Sam.
Can I reply? But I was supposed to be in an immediate recession. There's all the businesses...
No, Mark Carney said it was a possibility.
No, he said an immediate recession. It
was possible. Sam, why are you arguing with me? These aren't opinions. Mark Carney said there was a possibility of a recession as a result of the referendum vote.
We wouldn't be able to pay pensions. It's rubbish. And I'm calling you from Brexit Central. We aren't stupid. The European Union is like a proto-USR because they're just like the Politburo, the Commission, are unelected, basically unaccountable, and it's disgusting.
Okay.
And the thing is going to end anyway because it's undemocratic. Poland, the Czech Republic, Hungary aren't going to take the jackboot to the European Union, and it's going to finish, mate. So I can't wait to listen to you cry some more. And we're never going to go away. And we're never going to stop until we get basically our sovereignty. And sovereignty means that we can hire and fire the people that make the laws in our name. That's what it means.
Does it?
Yeah. And you are the most bourgeois I've ever heard in pro-Terry.
Any thoughts on the Japan trade deal?
Good luck, but we'll sign his own. You know, we're not going away. Eventually, when we get out, we'll make our own deals. Yeah. And the EU always uses the Trojan horse of economics. We were told when we joined it was just about trade.
We weren't. Ted Heath wrote a letter to the whole country explaining that it was a political union. Winston Churchill in 1949. You've been very rude to me. I'm not going to be rude to you, however much you try to provoke me. That's absolutely fine. Winston Churchill talked in 1945 about a United States of Europe. A common defence policy is pretty much a description of what our NATO...
The people in the referendum were told it was just about trade.
They weren't, though, Sam. Nobody ever said that.
They were.
Okay, you can say that, but I've got the letter that Ted Heath wrote to the entire country in 1975 saying the polar opposite of what you describe. And he was Prime Minister.
Just to be about trade, and
it doesn't become true by repetition. I just said to you, the Prime Minister at the time wrote a letter to the entire country stressing repeatedly that it was about much more than trade. In fact, I think if you go back to the founding treaties, it talks about closer integration. Mate, you've been sold a pup, and you get angry with the person, but you just keep saying something that's not true, Sam.
So the commissioner elected so the executive are unelected, unaccountable. That's a lie.
No, Sam, what you've said wrong is that we were told it was only about trade, and that's demonstrably not true. No, but it doesn't work like that, Sam. It doesn't.
The commissioner proposed legislation, unelected, unaccountable.
No, they're like the cabinet.
They're the executive. So the commissioner, not the executive now.
No, they're like the cabinet is the executive.
No. The commission or the executive, they proposed...
So is the cabinet. Which ministers did you vote for?
Elected.
Sam, calm down, my friend. Sam, chill out, mate. All right?
Because I'm sick of you listening to your...
Well, turn the radio off then, Sam.
No, but it's nice to get a proper opinion on. And the commission...
Well, that's why I'm offering you the opportunity. I just think basic manners demand a degree of decorum. Which Secretary of State did you vote for? Did you vote for David Davis to be...
let me answer then. You asked me a question and you don't let me answer.
Well, carry on then. Which Secretary of State did you vote to do the job that they're doing today?
No, but they're still direct MP elected as MPs, so you can still unelect them through the ballot.
Okay, which civil servants did you elect?
I don't elect, but the MPs were voted on the manifesto.
The bloke that's leading our negotiations in the European Union, he's called Oliver. Did you elect him?
It doesn't matter. But
so which civil servants did you elect, Sam?
You don't elect civil servants, the bureaucrats in the EU. Our executive, listen, our executive are still directly elected, are they not?
Yes, they are, Steve. Sam. That's the cabinet, and then they employ bureaucrats to introduce policy.
Brexit muppet, aren't I? In the race.
Sam, I'm sure you're a lovely bloke, and you've had a bit of a rush of blood to the head, and I wish you a really merry Christmas.
Because I think it's and you, mate.
12:33.